fine. I was just
All
opening
right.
up.
So, FYI, we're gonna be talking about spoilers for the next chapter, but god damn it, Spencer, I fucking hate debating with you through fucking text chat. Holy shit, man! You take 5 minutes to type out one sentence. It's like the shortest fucking sentence ever. It doesn't progress the argument at all.
Like you don't get your point through.
Exactly.
I just my
I
bad.
fucking hate it.
My bad.
You're
I'm
typing
sorry
on
about
like your
that.
fucking Nokia, pressing
No,
the
no.
fucking R button
I
three
think
times.
I think the terrain does matter, but
I don't
I
have
think
a
they could
Nokia.
only climb it because it was the Haitian unit. How they're all farmers and like abnormally like conditioned and strong.
Yeah.
They've always been working. Wuhan, they
Yeah.
got wiped out because they had nobody that could do that.
All right.
They
So
couldn't climb it.
Yeah.
let me let
But
me
you
let me
have to
get my
remember
point
as well.
across first, and then we'll see what Spencer thinks. So, first of all, we know Ohan. He's a good commander. More than just good. He's a very good commander. Definitely
Great.
above like 4 Heavenly King level. You can even say great if you want to. And Buddha
Mhm.
destroyed him. It wasn't even close, though. To be fair, he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
the terrain advantage and he had the numbers advantage. So this doesn't really.
I wonder
This doesn't
if
really.
he fought. I wonder if he fought Buddha.
Nah, he didn't. He didn't.
You didn't fight Buddha. You didn't even get close to Buddha at the top of the hill. You got
Yeah.
wiped out.
Oh yeah, he was at the bottom. Yeah, y'all right.
So basically, he got decimated, and this doesn't really, for example, say that Buddha's a better commander than Ohan because obviously terrain
Just
advantage and
terrain.
numbers advantage. But
Yeah.
still, it is impressive that Ohan didn't even come close, and Buddha actually had traps beforehand to bait Ohan, and Ohan fell for that. And it took Ohan pretty much the 9 days to come up with the exact spot that's the best method of attack. So for a genius like Ohan to take that long to get past Buddha's strategy, I mean, that's pretty impressive on its own right.
Yeah.
And
Is it just me or did Shin know where to go to? When he
well,
was like
That's
about
the
to bring
thing.
up.
I was about to say
yeah,
that Shin
I was
was the
about to
one.
get to
Was
that. I was about to get to
okay.
that.
Oh my bad,
So
my bad.
the thing is about that you can argue Shin his instincts figured it out or not, whatever. Ohan did give him a hint, but I don't think it matters regardless because if his instincts wouldn't have told him that, like maybe if he got a clue, but he wouldn't have come to the exact conclusion, then you needed a genius like Ohan to struggle for 9 days to help y'all to get to that point. And even if y'all didn't, that's just an outlier feat from Shin that really shows like his instincts are coming a long way first of all, and that's not something that the Buddha guy like you can expect them to account for or figure out. Like that's not really something you can knock him for. By the way, I just realized we've been talking this entire time and I didn't actually explain what the premise of what our conversation is. It's about whether the Buddha guy is weak or unimpressive or whatever you want to use
No,
because he got beaten
what
in
I,
half a day.
okay, this is what I was saying. Buddha's army was what unimpressed me. Like really, right? This dude has been literally sitting for 9 days on top of a hill with reserves. First of all, like he had reserves, U.S. reserves from his armies, and at the same time, some of his armies were on the ground. And Shin arrives in a day, saves Ohan first, then restructures his own army, then climbs the hill and goes kills him. Like all in half a day of him arriving, which to me like just says that just sucks, bro. That he sucks. Like
I
his
think they
army
could only
sucks.
break in and save Wuhan because of Kiore.
I mean, yeah, that
Kure.
was the case. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going
She's
with what I
correct.
said.
She's correct.
So
Yeah,
the thing is about that obviously when you get to that point of the hill, that's not something that Buddha guy you can realistically expect him to account for. And it's one of those things where you can't really use results or like how much someone struggled to downplay someone because okay, even if Shin's instincts were responsible for that, the fact that he didn't necessarily struggle to figure that out doesn't mean it wasn't something that's hard to figure out. It doesn't mean Buddha wasn't justified in thinking no one would figure it out. So, like, I don't
All right,
like that's
boys.
not
I
something that
need,
you
I need
can
to get
knock
back
him
to
for.
work. I'll catch you guys later. My bad.
All right, yeah, you do that.
all right, that's cool. Yeah,
So yeah, basically, you can't really knock him for Shin figuring that out, and then even after that, like the infantry were specialized to be able to climb that hill, and they struggled to climb the hill, and that's something that Shin needed to get over the hills. So even in that instance, you can't really blame him too much for not being able to account that the infantry would struggle. And he did have countermeasures. He had the arrows and shit, and they had to climb the really steep part, which is not something I'm gonna be like. You didn't realize they could climb that really steep part? What the fuck? Like, it's not really
no,
something
he
I would
wouldn't have
say.
realized that. But then in terms of like the fact that even though Shin was on the hill, right, he had reserves on reserves. So what like made him not being able to use those reserves to stop Hill's actual advancement? He
It's not. It's
he
not.
could have taken.
Well, first of all, that part of the hill, like you can only place so many soldiers there. It's not like you can place your whole reserves
No,
there.
but his reserves were all there on the hill. Like it's not just the small hill. There's literally a forest behind it as well.
Well,
He's
yeah,
placed his entire armies there.
of course, but he didn't think they would be able to climb the hill or even like figure out that's the best method of attacking.
Sorry, give me a moment, please.
All right, whatever.
Okay, sorry, it's my pops. Yeah,
I,
like he placed
what I
his
was saying is like that specific area. Yeah, you can have that. Well, the general area covered entirely with reserves, but that specific area to where they climb that hill, like that's already filled with troops that they managed to get by. So, that specific
okay, and
area
then
you
he's
can't really
don't forget
send more
don't
troops
forget
there.
his
They're still going to be able to break through that area. Shin's going to be able to get up there, and he had reserve troops in the forest behind them, but that's because he didn't expect them to get that far. And if you can't if that's not something that you can use against him to say he's bad, because nothing about him not expecting that implies that he's bad. So how would you use that against him? Okay, he was overconfident in thinking he didn't need to use them, but he was justified in thinking so. So what are we talking about here?
what I'm talking about, right, is basically the fact that like the nigger literally had he's had his elite soldiers with him, his reserve armies, and had the hill itself, right, and still lost everything in half a day. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like
I know that's what you're trying to say,
it
but
should,
how does that make him weak,
yeah.
or how does that make him bad?
For me, what makes it bad is the fact that he lost having all those reserves with him and resources at his disposal, but still was not good enough to stop him at all.
Okay, like
Don't,
what part of that is
and,
bad?
and don't forget that Shin didn't even use all of his infantry to get to the top. He only used a small number of units.
I'm still
Am I
trying to
wrong?
figure out like what part of this makes him bad. Because, like I just said, him overestimating his army or his abilities, or underestimating the Haitian unit, doesn't necessarily make him bad if it's justified.
So wait, so you're telling me? So he's saying you want me to tell him why he's bad, right?
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he lost everything and he's on the hill, that's what I say is bad. In all in a half a day wait.
I'm asking you
That's what I
why
say is
that is
bad.
bad. I know that's what you think is bad. Why is that bad?
Dude, like because he um literally lost the hill with all his armies and everything there on the hill and he still lost. A loses, isn't it bad, right? Loses a bad thing.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's plenty of losers that are impressive, so I wouldn't say that
Like
at
what?
all. Like pretty
I'm
much every
joking.
villain in the story.
But they weren't impressive, they still lost.
You said they're not
Okay, fine.
impressive?
Okay, my bad. Let me not phrase this properly. Let me put it this way. Right? The dude, right, had all the terrain territory advantages, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying he had all the territory advantages, and he was able to keep all the other armies up from not being able to win. Because don't forget, it wasn't just Ohan, the one that was actually trying to take the hill. There were armies before him as well, and they still lost.
Yeah, he bodied all of them.
Yeah, but then in one go, in half a day, Shin literally wipes him out.
Yeah, it's to the Haitian unit's credit.
Yeah, so for me, it's not I'm saying it's bad. I'm just saying his army is weak in a way
More
compared
like
to Shin's unit. Compared to Shin's unit.
More like he didn't utilize them as effectively as possible. He was arrogant in
Thank
some
you.
instances. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's what I'm
is,
trying to say.
I know that's what you're trying to say, but what I'm saying is, being arrogant in certain instances, it doesn't necessarily imply like incompetence to, like, I don't know what degree I would say, but like I'm just saying if he's justified in thinking that he doesn't need to use troops in this example or that example, then there's not many
But then,
examples where you could be like, all right, he's gonna make a dumb decision here. You could say maybe
but
he'll
then
make a decision that isn't optimal, but he has like good reasoning to think it was optimal.
But look at it this way, Junkin. Like when Shin literally rode up the hill, right, with these cavalry, right, was the cavalry, right? He should have put a plan in place there to keep them there as well, because he had the resources to do that as well.
I mean, well, first of all, like I said, like I don't think that matters because he was justified in thinking Shin wouldn't get that far, but he had a plan in place. That was his reinforcements arriving, and the only reason that got fucked up was because of Akakin.
Oh,
Otherwise,
you're
they
right.
would have been in a stalemate.
No, but he actually went to Shin as well, which is a stupid thing.
Well, that's after, cause he could have kept running if he wanted to, but that's after Shin managed to break through to a certain point because of Akakin. It's not like as soon as Shin made it up the hill, he's like, oh, let me run to him. He's like, if you make it to me, then, I'll duel you, since you've earned it in a way.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, he could have kept running and it would have been a good plan because the reinforcements were on their way there. So if he wanted to
Yeah.
just run and survive, then, yeah, that would have been good on his part, but I don't fault him for thinking he could beat Shin because he's a strong guy. He's pretty damn strong.
Nah, he was not strong, but he could fight Shin to a standstill. The basic part of Shin.
So he was not strong, but he can fight Shin to a standstill. And not just fight him, he was bodying him for a lot of that fight.
I wouldn't say bodying him. He was, but Shin wasn't even tapped into his weight. He wasn't even like pissed off, and you could see that guy actually. You remember when at the end of the one of the chapters where his veins came out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Shin wasn't really actually fighting him at like full strength, but that's what I would say as well.
Yeah, but
Actually killed
Shin
him.
at full strength is Hoken level, so, you know, of course Shin at full strength is going to body him.
Nah, that's true. Wait, let me ask you. Um, okay, so well, anyway, I still feel that this half a day thing was for me. His army was weak, but he was okay in terms of fighting and all that. But what do you think is going to happen next, though, in terms of like Kanki's plan? Is he just going to ride the Shin wave?
Before we get to that, let me
Yeah,
just bring up the Mobu and Kame comparison, because there's a lot of battles that they boil down to just
uh,
one moment or like a few moments, and like generals that are 6G tier, even they'll go down in like half a day.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not sure
Then,
why you're
no,
banking everything
no,
about how competent he is on just how fast he went down.
but I'm for Kanmei and thing on Mobu, the terrain was different completely. It was like level terrain with the where they were fighting at,
Yeah, but we
and it
just went
plays a
over
part
how
on
the
that
Haishin unit was specialized to deal with that terrain because of the infantry.
infantry.
So the terrain actually ended up working to the Haishin unit's advantage because it had the Buddha guy not on guard. He didn't think he needed to have troops there ready because he didn't even think them getting that far was a possibility.
Okay, so you're removing the terrain part away, right?
I'm not removing it away. I'm just saying the terrain was part of why he was arrogant because he had good reason to believe that they wouldn't get that far.
And they did, and they killed them, which is
Yeah, but that's to the Haishin unit's credit. You can give someone credit without having to, shit on another person for it.
okay. But I'm sorry, having that much terrain and having so much of an advantage over an army and still lose so badly. That's because he actually lost badly. Like he still has reserves and reserves of
I mean, that's kind of sounding
troops.
like what's gonna happen to Kocho, right? So, are you gonna keep that same energy and
That's
say
very true.
Kocho's trash?
Uh, if he loses the exact same way he did, for example, I'm predicting that they're probably going to use some of the armies, like they're going to fight against Shen basically again, right? And if he does get bodied again, then yeah, he probably is trash as well.
Well, assuming it's not that simple. Like, there's like some mind games going on. Because whatever
Yeah,
happens, I mean, he's gonna lose, and it's gonna be him having like 3 times Conky's troops and having terrain advantages with AQ because he's the one that put Buddha there, so that is his fault in a way too.
so he still sucks in a way if he loses. And if you look at like in terms of the whole terrain, the terrain is also at his advantage as well.
Yeah.
But still, if he loses, then it's trash. I'm sorry. So for me, for now, the only person I'd see that is not actually trash at Zara is probably Reebok and the guy with him. I forgot his name.
Shiba Show. So a whole two people.
Yeah, only two people. Banji is good. Like he got parried and like cut his eye by Moted. So I don't know.
These Zao guys, man.
But
Anytime they fail, no matter how impressive their opponent is, even if it's like a small L, like getting your eye fucked up, but you're still like pretty much good. Like you're just trash off the bat right there. Even Shiba Show, if he dies, he's trash.
yeah, he is trash. No,
Nice,
it
nice.
depends. Let's say depends on the fight. Depends on the fight. For me, Hogan wasn't trash, right? Because he
But he
fought
he died in like five
and he
minutes.
did, yeah, but he had fights with different. He did have wins against Quinn.
All right, but when he went up against Shin, he died in like 5 minutes.
No, wasn't it quite a long time when they fought? Both of them were near
No, it was
death
more
experience.
like 5 minutes.
It
Shin
was
was
near.
pretty
It
quick.
was more than that. It wasn't that quick. It wasn't that quick.
It was like 5 minutes, bro. Maybe
No, it
10 at
wasn't.
most.
Trust me. Nah, we can't say it was that quick. Look at how long it took for like the actual dialogue for them to write about that fight. It wasn't that short?
What? They could have those conversations in like 2 minutes tops. Are you kidding
No,
me?
bro. I
You
don't
trolling
think it
right
was
now?
that quick. No, but it wasn't that quick. Like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm sure it was a proper like fight, a long fight, but it wasn't like all day long fight.
Why are you sure about that though? There's nothing that indicates it was a long fight.
It
If
was,
anything, Shin being so tired and needing to end it quickly even like backs that point up. There was not much that happened in terms of progression around the battlefield while they were fighting. Shin was just almost at Riboku's HQ. They fought for a bit and then it was over.
and then Popoku escaped,
I mean, yeah,
right?
he was,
And
he was
then there was
escaping
no,
while it was
yeah.
going down. Yeah.
Uh, uh, okay, but then both of them nearly died anyway. It was that type of death experience.
Hey, Hoken didn't account for Kyokai's secret technique that just makes him trash.
Nah, but I don't think he's trash though. Hogan actually fought quite well, and he was a great general, even though he wasn't general material. But in terms of like what he's accomplished, like killing Duke and Oki, he makes him good compared to all the other Zion generals. They trash.
I'm just going off your logic of being like, oh, it ended so quickly. Like, if the half a day thing is like a sin to you, then 5 minutes must be pretty bad.
No, it's not a sin. I'm just saying. For example, for me, like in terms of what I was trying to say, right? The reason why, like, I'm saying the guy is trash, the Buddha guy's army, not even him. I'm saying Buddha guy's army is trash, is because of how quick it ended. The actual battlefield. It took Shin days to get to actually Reebok and Hoken. Remember, and they struggled through that army. Am I
But yeah,
wrong?
even when they struggle for like 15 days, you still call the people they struggled against trash. So
No, what I'm basically saying is the guy over a thing. Like the guy when I'm comparing the two, I'm saying the guy from Buddha, right? He's literally trash. His army is trash basically because his army literally let it happen in a day. And for Shin, like Shin's army literally conquered him in a day. And whereas Shin's army took so long in other battles to actually win and get a result, or for Shin to get to the commander. And yeah, when he gets to the commander, it's always quick, which is true. It's always kind of quick. It's a quick fight.
I'm just trying to figure out like at what point does how unlikely events are matter? 'Cause, like anything can happen if an event is like so unlikely that you don't account for it. Because all your strategies, all your formations, they're based on what you think is going to happen, the variables that you think are taking place. So anyone can get caught off guard if something out of their expectations happen. And that's pretty much what this battle was. Just a bunch of unlikely events that led to Buddha Guy not strategizing correctly and not utilizing his troops efficiently. But at the same time, they even struggled to get there. Like, Ohan obviously struggled a whole lot to pass that message on to them. Shin, he didn't really struggle to use his instincts, but that was just a really good feat on his part. If he would have, made it there through his instincts, it's still not exactly clear. And then the infantry troops were specialized for that climb, and they still struggled to make it up there. And then Shin made it up, and then they struggled to make it to Buddha until Akakin came. Which Buddha, he didn't really account for Akakin because that was something that Ohan, that was super unlikely. Ohan came up with that plan like the first day, and it took like 9 days of like secretly traveling, making sure you're not getting caught. Like all those things that are very justifiably hard to account for. And that's what led to the Buddha Guy fucking up and not utilizing his troops correctly. Like, at what point does that matter? Like, anyone could get got in like a short amount of time if the strategy is good enough. And at this specific situation, yeah, it's kind of like leaves a bad taste in your mouth when Buddha has so many troops, and if he didn't have his reserves, if he just had everyone there, like, with the mindset of, I'm just going to destroy the Haishin unit with all my power, I'm not going to underestimate him in the slightest, like, yeah, he would have won, and Shin would have had no chance to even get to him, but at the same time, like I said, all of his decisions they made sense in a way. Like, there's nothing that he did that I'm like, you're dumb for thinking this, or you're even, like, not that intelligent for thinking this. Like, all his decisions were intelligent. It's just things that were out of his imagination, if you were to say.
Okay, I get it.
Like, I'm trying to think of
No, I get it.
another example. Like, even Osun. Like, obviously, Ordo had a lot more troops than him, but Osun just came up with an amazing strategy, and it led him, like, in a split moment, he went from being on the back foot to now he has enough room to help Kin and save the day. Like, shit, like things can change on, like, the snap of a finger if a strategy is good enough, and depending on the situation.
But then Olsen used his terrain to his advantage perfectly.
Yeah, he did.
That's how. Yeah, he used it perfectly to his advantage, and the guy had more in a better arm. But this, like, he used his terrain. So, and you get what the Buddha guy did. He had the terrain as well, but he still couldn't use it to his advantage.
But he didn't do a bad job of using it to his advantage. Because he managed to bait Ohan, and then he managed to hide the weak point well, and then he had countermeasures for that weak point that it was justified to believe these countermeasures are enough. Like, what was it, the fucking boulders? Like, not many people are gonna be able to get past the boulders or go to that really steep part of the hill and be able to climb that. So, like, he had good plans. Like, they weren't like amazing plans or anything, but he had good plans.
And yeah, that's a shame though.
I mean, it's not really something that it's not really something that bothers me because this is Kanki's arc at the end of the day. Like, I wouldn't really want him to, to take a lot more chapters than he has right now. Hara did a good job of showing he's competent, he's smart, he's not like a genius or anything, but he's smart. He has a strong army, and he's strong himself. At the end of the day, his main thing is his own strength. That's his best attribute. But it's not like he's super strong, but he's just a dumbass. He's fairly smart in his own right. Just not anything like crazy, but enough to be a competent commander.
Okay, that's true. His army, I wouldn't say it was really strong.
His elites for sure were really strong, and everyone else, I mean, you could say they're average in terms of like Zhao troops, but Zhao troops in general are just pretty damn strong.
Yeah, true. But that, for me, they were kind of weak, like, in terms of like how they handle things. Let me just put it that way.
When you say weak, do you mean like weak as in you didn't like it? Like that was weak type of thing?
Yeah, like the way his army reacted and all that when they saw they were being like, yeah, basically, like the way his army reacted to what Shin was doing and how they reacted to when Shin already arrived and all that.
I mean, they reacted with like basic defensive formations, but then, Akakin fucked that up.
Still broke it down.
Akakin fucked that up because I was arguing with Twale about this. Shin, if Akakin wasn't there, it's not like he can't get past these guys, but they're going to be able to stalemate because Shin kills them and then reinforcements are coming. So as he's killing them, more reinforcements are coming, and it just creates a stalemate until it's too late to get the Buddha guy. Because Ten was super worried about getting to him. Like, people like to downplay that, but she was like freaking out about actually making it to him.
Yeah. Oh, but I thought she was more worried about Shin himself because she knew that there were reserves there, and she wanted Shin to kill the general as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been a
Oh, okay.
stalemate, and he wouldn't have been able to kill him in time because, reserves were coming. Like, there was like
Okay.
reserves coming there, but there was also like the bulk of the reserves that hadn't made it yet.
Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't sit well with me that his army didn't back him up.
It's kind of like because I know what you mean. At the end of the day, you're like, he didn't live up to his potential in terms of what he could have showed for how big
Yeah.
of an advantage he had. But that is a thing that's happened like multiple times throughout the series. Like Gokei, that happened to Gokei. Rayo, that was like infamous for happening to him. He did not live up to his potential at all. He just got.
Yeah, I remember.
A lot of generals didn't like Earl Shi. He had a lot of men, but he didn't really utilize them. He just fought Ohan in a duel. He was like, whatever. Gaimo, he had a lot of men.
God.
He just fought Shin in a duel. He was like, whatever. Like a lot of generals don't
Yeah.
really utilize their exact situation to the best way possible.
They don't fight winning, like they don't fight winning battles. Like what Olsen said, he like what Kanki said about Olsen, like the nigga only fights battle that he knows that he can win.
Yeah, though I will give Buddha credit that he didn't just like ride down and try to duel Shin. He's like, you make it to me first, motherfucker.
Yeah,
If you prove you're worthy
Uh,
of dueling me, then go ahead. You just gotta make it to me.
then he killed him. What do you think is gonna happen next? Like from what from what I've read so far, from since I hadn't read, I feel like Kanki's riding Shin's wave again.
Yeah, but well, have you listened to any of our discussions? Because we've like gone over this to death. Basically,
Nah, I haven't. It's been a while.
yeah,
What
basically
were you
like
guys?
Kocho, he's either gonna chase Kanki into the woods or he's gonna go to AQ and then Kanki's gonna show up at AQ. Like basically something where Shin does a bulk of the distraction and stalling, and like he's gonna try to take advantage of that by catching Kocho off guard somehow. Basically, just it boils down to how does he catch him off guard? Because if it's a basic flank, but unless it's like the most genius timing ever, then that's just kind of underwhelming. It should be he flanks him, but Kocho accounts for that, and then some type of battle of wits happens.
Yeah. But from what I'm seeing, like, have you seen the layout from that map? The terrain, it's so big, and Kanki's like camp is completely lost in the terrain. And then Culture is actually not even looking at Kanki anymore. He's literally focused on Olsen.
Well, the way the spoilers showed
Remember,
it, it's like that center general. I think the guy that looks like Sun Suju seems like he's going to AQ to deal with Shin, so Shin can't directly go to Kocho. So I'm not sure what exactly is going to come from that. I do like how now we're like
Yeah.
starting to get the ball rolling on figuring out what's happening, like more progression is happening. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe because this is what I originally thought when I said Kocho was going to chase him into the woods where Kanki was originally. Like Shin's gonna pose a threat to pincer him or flank him from behind, and Kocho's gonna use more troops to be able to block him, and then that's gonna give Kanki enough manpower to be able to deal a blow to Kocho or something.
Okay, it sounds like a plan. I actually had this opposite idea. I thought Coach would probably like since Shin usually wants to charge or wants to take the initiative of actually going for the chief, like commander in chief. I thought Shin would actually go and attack Kocho, and then Kanki would use that as a way of literally flanking or something like that from
Yeah, like
behind.
it seems like the Sunshuju guy or whoever's in the center. Maybe it's not even him, just like a generic center army. Seems like they're gonna stop that. So I'm not saying Shin isn't gonna get past them, but part of the plan is gonna be that Shin he can't immediately help. That's what it seems to be heading. And maybe
Okay.
because like Shin got that arm injury too, so I'm thinking that's gonna fuck with his ability to plow through troops. It's gonna nerf his offensive charge to an extent.
Well, but he can still swing the Clarin with like because he's did he use his one hand though? I didn't actually see the spoilers. That's
No,
the thing.
he used both hands, but the thing about Shin is, because I think he like he summoned a fair bit of weight. I'm not saying he went like max weight like when he was against Hoken, but it was fairly high, like maybe how it was when he was against Chogaryu, or maybe like a bit lower than that. So he went like
Mhm.
near all out, or like somewhat near all out at that point. And when Shin is able to summon that level of weight, he's able to ignore injuries. But when he's in a situation like against fodder, he can't bring it out of himself to summon that level of weight. So the injuries really start fucking with him at that point, and they really nerf him. That's why Shin before the Hoken fight, he was like struggling to get to fodder. But then once he fights Hoken, like his weight is obviously on at that point, and that's when he's able to ignore injuries and like fight as if he doesn't have them, or like his injuries don't nerf him nearly as much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so
let's just hope.
we'll see how much of an effect that has. I think that's just like further reinforcing the point that Shin by himself, he's not going to be enough to end the war.
Yeah. But what happens if, let's say, all of this actually fails and Kanki actually gets killed or something like that?
I mean, if he's gonna die, he should at least die to Riboku. Like, come on now, dying to fucking Kocho. What is Kocho? The next great heaven now?
But he actually got qualified for Great Heaven in terms of Zhao's standards, doesn't he?
Well, the thing is, I think the point of the great heavens, and this is why I think Keisha was the closest, was you need to be on that level. Like, just being close isn't good enough. Apparently, that's what I think. Like,
Okay.
you need to be able to like hold the respect of the great heavens. But Hoken was like an outlier, obviously, but I think Kocho might be close to it. But if you're not exactly on that
And
level, I don't think Riboku's gonna make a recommendation, or you might not get the spot. I don't know why Kocho didn't get the spot, because he's probably somewhat close to it with his army being as strong as it is. Having Budogai and having those
yeah.
other generals. But apparently he didn't
Also,
make it, because I don't think him and
but
his entire army is losing to Keisha. I don't buy that at all. I think
um,
Keisha just
and
he was the closest because he wasn't the best Zhao general, but he had the most potential out of all of them. While others like Bananji and Gyoun, well, Gyoun was retired, but someone like Bananji, I think he was a better
mm,
general than Keisha, but like at no point did he have the potential to make it to Great Heaven, so he wasn't really
level.
close. Like he might be somewhat close to their level, like maybe 80% or something, but he's never getting past that 80% unless he like learns Origins or something. So he didn't really have the potential while Keisha did.
I get it. But then that nigga had more than doesn't he have like more than 100 battles under his in terms of experience? Remember when
Who, Bananji?
no the guy that's fighting Kanki right now.
Ocho? I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think
He
that was
has
stated.
like oh okay. In terms of like the experience though, I thought you'd have
I'm sure
the
he
same
has a
amount
lot. It's
of like
just we're
experience.
not really sure like exactly how much. Maybe 100 is
Yeah.
fair, but if it is like 100, it'll probably be against the Zhang Yu, because I don't know how famous Kocho is.
He's just the guard. I just know that he was the guardian of the thing during the time, even when the three great generals before even Reebok was there. He was still there as one of the guardian generals. Guardian
I
deity.
I don't
They
think
call him guardian deity or something like that. Huh?
I don't think that was stated. We don't exactly know when he became the Guardian. I'm pretty sure that's the case, because Voodoo Guy was talking about, like, I don't know if he said recently, but he was talking about as if it was somewhat recent that he was like locked up in the Kanton because of Kocho, and then he spent that time getting stronger and like learning strategies and shit.
Yeah. No, I'll check it again. That chapter. I just want to read it again because I thought maybe he was like since he was the guardian deity of Zhao, he was literally one of the he was there during the times of the other three great generals. He was the guardian even during that time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was around at that time fighting wars, but I don't know if he was the Guardian. I'm not sure.
Well, if he gets bodied by Kanki, he sucks.
How far?
That's what I have to say. Yeah, gets bodied by Kanki, he sucks.
Yeah, do you wanna mention anything else? Cause I'm about to get off in a bit.
No, I think you can just wrap it up.
All right.
It
Well,
was a good,
to
it was a
wrap
good.
things up, Buddha guy is a beast. You know, one of the one of the coolest antagonists we've gotten so far. Maybe not top five exactly, but he's around there. I hold him to like a similar degree to like a Rinko. Really fuck with him as an antagonist, and dude is a monster. You know, straight monster. Dude is like 10 feet tall, powerful as fuck, fast as fuck, skilled as fuck. More skilled than Hoken, one might say. And he's
Nah,
he's fairly competent. He's pretty fucking competent. He's not a dumbass. He's pretty smart. So yeah, run Buddha guy's fucking credit. Run him his
nah,
credit.
bro. Sorry, this nigga died quick, too quick. Well, anyway, I'll give him his credit in terms of the fact that he was able to face basic Shin and was still able to parry him, and also matched Shin in terms of his swordsmanship, and then he was better at Shin in martial arts, but then in terms of fighting got killed.
Wait, let
And
me
what
ask you
else?
this actually. How
Yeah,
how big of a difference do you think there is between basic Shin and full power Shin?
a big difference.
How big? How many levels?
Hmm. I'd say like when Shin's in terms of martial might, I'd say Shin's literally near the term of great general, right? And
I don't
basic
know what
Shin
that
is not
means.
okay. Like Oki, when Shin's literally at his full, when he's carrying all that weight, I'd say he's at Oki's level.
All right, so what level does or what difficulty does basic Shin push Oki to? Mid diff, low diff, high diff?
Oki, low diff.
What? How? That makes no sense.
No, sorry. What does low diff mean? Like
Low diff is like you if you had like the same attributes, right? Like let's say it's not like one person specializes in speed, one person specializes in power. Like if both of y'all
okay,
like are balanced in terms of your attributes, the guy that's doing the low
okay,
diffing, every exchange, he's gonna like horrendously overpower you, maybe almost break your weapon. He's gonna send you flying. Like at no point can you compete with him at all, and you're probably gonna lose in like 10 seconds.
okay. So basic should not say he's like low diff at Oki. I'm sorry. He
How though?
currently it doesn't match up to Oki, and when he's not using his weight.
A low like he's always
Oki,
using his weight, but he needs like a battle to be more difficult to draw out more of it. But we've seen basic Shin, like he's able to hold his own against Gyeomun. You know, he was able to clash equally with him, albeit he was at a disadvantage, but he's gotten even stronger since then. And even when he was at a disadvantage because he wasn't used to the glaive, he was still able to, hold his own. He was able to fight kind of on par with him.
but you would have been bodied by I think by Oki, or even who's the guy from one of the other great things what's his name again? Rempa
All right, what about Shin versus Rinko?
Anderson.
Because we've seen at when Rinko fought Shin and Ohan in the 1v2, basic Shin, quote unquote, like as soon as the fight started, he was able to send Rinko flying. So wouldn't that by itself tell you there is no huge gap between basic Shin and full power Shin?
I'd say there is a gap. I think there is a gap though, because when Shin's literally using everything, like he's really strong. It's same thing with, for example, there's a big difference when we see Mambo using his full strength and when he's not using his like actual strength. You even said that yourself, Lawrence.
Yeah, but I'm not saying there isn't a gap. I'm saying it's like 1 or 2 levels at most. It's not like he's like 5 levels above. And 1 or 2 levels at most would not indicate a low diff. That would be more like what, mid diff at worst, maybe upper mid diff.
Thing is, from what I see, when Shin's holding Oki's glove and he's not actually utilizing it to its fullest potential. You can even see that right now. It's still kind of heavy for him.
And regardless, with that quote unquote nerf, he's still able to kill Hoken.
Yeah, he was still able to kill Hogan, but then like in terms of, and that's when he was using all of his weight, like all of his strength, right? But Standard Shin, as we can see, Standard Shin can still not carry the full weight of the actual Cloverin itself.
It's not that he can't carry it; he just can't handle it as well as he'd like to.
At the moment,
But
too. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
but the thing is, I don't think that nerfs his attack power. I just think that nerfs his skill, and you can maybe argue his speed too. When he's just like swinging it, I don't think that really matters in terms of attack power.
But we're talking about like, well, we're talking about everything, aren't we? Like, he's in terms like when we're talking about him holding the Cloverin and using it in a fight, right? And it's he's standard fighting, Standard Shin fighting. He doesn't have, he's not literally experienced enough or strong enough to, let's say, go against standard Oki, who doesn't even feel as who can handle the Cloverin on its own, and he's not even using his full power.
Well, Shin not being able to perfectly use it doesn't mean he doesn't have good mastery of it. He's not like perfectly mastered it, but he's still very skilled with it. It's not like him not using it quite as well as he'd want to indicates that he's a scrub with it, or like it's like a massive hindrance. It's just against Buddha guy with his specific martial arts style, that fucks with him. But even against Hoken, he was able to keep up with Hoken in speed and
no,
like
but then
power.
before that, in the beginning of the fight, he was being bodied. He even said that. Only when he actually started like accessing his actual weight, that's when he actually was able to get a grip with the actual Cloverin and started showing his true strength.
But one at the beginning of the fight he was injured and exhausted, and two he improved mid fight. So it's not like that version of him that's like weaker than current Shin and is exhausted and injured and hungry and all that shit. That's a representation of just base Shin in general.
Okay, so we're just saying basic Shin itself, right? Not the one like fought Hoken. Then we can't base it in that. Then can't we base it on the guy that he fought with before Hoken? Then.
Well, I'm saying it's at least that impressive. Like that the Gyon fight is a better representation because he's not he's against Hoken. He's forced to tap into his weight more because Hoken's a stronger enemy, and he's exhausted and injured. So of course, like the beginning of that battle is going to be him getting bodied, but he was pretty impressive against Hoken. I mean, against Gyon without tapping into the full powers of his weight, and he's even stronger now. So I'm saying if he's at least that impressive, and then even more so now, there's no way like you're gonna say Oki like low diffs Gyon.
Yeah, I say Oki still low diffs Gyon. I'm sorry.
Based on what?
Oki's strong.
Gyon's strong.
Thing is, yeah, Gyo's strong, but Oki's strong as well.
All right, let's just compare their attributes then. Oki's brute strength against Gyon's brute strength. How comparable is it?
Mid diff. Or, no, even low diff actually.
All right, Rempa's brute strength against Oki's brute strength.
I'd say mid diff, or actually high diff actually.
Okay, but you do realize Bananji got the hype. You do realize Bananji got the hype of having Rempa level brute strength, right?
Wait, is he stronger than Rempa?
It said he had like Rempa level brute strength, basically the strength of arms. That was the point of that dialogue.
Okay.
So how can Rempa's brute strength be high diff with Oki, but Gyon and Bananji by extension would be low diff, if it's the same as Rempa's?
I said mid diff or high diff, because of experience as well and the strength. We haven't seen Bananji fight Rempa, so we can't literally say that Rempa would lose to Bananji. I feel like Rempa would.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. But first of all, just the fact that we haven't seen him doesn't mean you can just disregard what that page was implying, because it's there for a reason. Like horror wouldn't he wouldn't just put that in your mind and like lead you to think one way and be like it's completely opposite to this. Like that's just not how storytelling works.
Okay.
And I'm not saying Bananji would beat Rempa, because I think Rempa's probably faster than Bananji, although not to a significant extent. He's probably more skilled than Bananji, and he has more weight than Bananji. So Rempa at his max level, he's gonna have more attack power than Bananji, maybe by like a level or two, at most, probably like only a level. But that's because he has more weight, because all the things he's been through. Bananji, he has
Um,
comparable brute strength to him, but his weight isn't exactly up to par.
okay.
So what I'm saying is, like brute strength versus brute strength, it would be the same thing with Oki. Like
Okay.
maybe Oki's a bit better, but it would be a high diff, brute strength versus brute strength, Bananji versus Oki, but Oki has more weight, and that's why he has more attack power. But
Okay.
regardless, my main point is that the fact that someone like Yon or Bananji have Rempa level brute strength and then they have respectable weight, it might not be like top tier weight like Rempa or Oki's, but it's very respectable weight. The fact that Shin can hold his own against someone of that caliber in his base form, it just shows that there's no way base Shin is getting low diff by Oki.
Okay. I see your point, but then I feel like the fact I'm looking at it in terms of the Glavin as well. That's what I put it at, right? Standard Shin can't literally use the Glavin like its full potential of the Glavin, or like at the standard base, while Oki can use the full potential of its Glavin at standard base, and not even without even tapping into his own weight. That's why I'm basing my standard form. You get me? Yeah.
I get you, but I think that's more of a experience with the glaive thing, like more skill with it.
Glavin, yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's hard to describe, but basically the point I'm making is like at most you can argue that base Shin would get mid diff by Oki. I think low diff is ridiculous, and even mid diff
Okay.
might be a bit too much. Like maybe upper mid diff or something. Like basically, I think base Shin is stronger than like a Dukyo who got mid diff by Hoken.
Yeah, he's stronger than Dukyo. But I get that. Shin is stronger than Dukyo. Standard Shin right now with Oki's Glavin. But then I feel like until he actually gets used, or actually is able to use the Glavin at standard point, like the way Oki used to use it. For example, remember when he was still young, when Oki told him that he was dead, and he was just using he didn't like that. The speed of the Glavin increases and all that. Then I feel like Shin is still not part at like the power of the great generals, basically, until he taps into his energy. Standard Shin.
Well, yeah, I can agree with that because I also don't think Shin at his max level is as strong as Oki. I still think Oki's stronger. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's like base Shin is not an easy fight for people. And like if someone understands that base Shin is stronger than a Dukyo, then you have to run Buddha Guy's respect.
Okay. But then, in terms of my respect, I respect him as a warrior, but not his army.
Not his army. Alright, whatever.
Not his army. You know why? We've been like talking about it. His army just he let him down. Let him down.
He
He
let
has
himself down
strategies,
because he's ultimately in charge of the strategies.
but also he also has strategies like Shin, for example. He also has strategy like Ten usually does. That gives us orders and all that. So even if though Gudabra was there, he also had strategies to use, but still, the strategy. He's just army just let him down. His elites.
Ultimately, I mean, no one's gonna make final decisions over him. You know?
Yeah.
He was basically in charge of his own downfall because it's not like the strategist was commanding things, I don't think. I think he just agreed with everything the strategist was doing. That's how I saw it.
And they
Yeah.
let him down real bad.
I don't think it would have made a difference because there's no way the strategist is like Buddha and the strategist agreed that they wouldn't be able to make it to the hill. And once they made it over the hill and then Akakin helped them, there's no way the strategist is convincing Buddha guy that to escape. There's no way that's happening. So, it didn't really make a difference. It's basically just the
Yeah.
Buddha guy being arrogant, but justifiably so. But yeah, with that, we can end it. Buddha guy
Yeah,
OP.